Hey friends, this there's the mic control guy. Earlier this evening I was listening to Coast to Coast AM, and it was open lines, and this feller called in and he said something that made a lot of sense, and it made some of these movies that we've been saturated with over the decades, all those Living Dead movies, reanimated and all that. And old boy said that he had been listening to some show, and when I get home tonight I'm going to go try and find that phone call. But he said he was listening to a show not too long ago, and they were talking about this chemical that Uncle Biden and company has been trying to encourage people or force people to take against their will. And this guy had mentioned on this show that he had been listening to that, whichever show it was, he said it was mentioned on there that this chemical had been given to monkeys in some kind of testing. Within 4 to 5 weeks, it did something to their brain, and they turned cannibalistic. And then the guy said, when he had listened to the show, they had mentioned the movie I Am Legend, which years ago that was starring actor Will Smith. Well, back in the early 60s, the year 1960 or 61, Vincent Price was in a movie called The Last Man on Earth. Now, the original name of the movie Last Man on Earth, its original title was I Am Legend. And they show these kinds of individuals. Just like in so many of these Living Dead movies, whether it be Return of the Living Dead, which said was inspired by actual events. Then they have, of course, the movie No Day of the Dead, where it showed that reanimated, trying to communicate with one of those twisted doctors. It reminds me of Project Zombie that happened out in the Philippines. If you've never seen a real reanimated, you don't want to. I did, and it's not pleasant. It's not fun at all. But anyway, back to what I was originally talking about. This show, this guy said he was listening to, where they had these monkeys who had been given the shot that they're trying to coerce us into taking now. The guy, I believe he said it was 4 or 5 weeks in, the monkeys turned cannibalistic. Well, we all know, according to the Georgia Guidestones, how they like to get the Earth's population down to less than 1/2 billion, so the Earth could repopulate its natural resources. And they probably wouldn't be too upset if they got the population down to less than 1/2 million worldwide. That way the Earth could, heal itself and regrow and all that kind of stuff. But, wars and diseases and all that are only going to wipe out so many people. But what if they came up with some kind of thing that they forced everybody to take, or coerced everybody to take, used every maneuver they could to get people to take this chemical into their body, and a certain amount of people turned them cannibalistic, uncontrollable, just like people who are on that drug Flocka, which gives them the out-of-control, crazed, reanimated or zombie feature. I mean, they just go berserk, and they start attacking people. One guy got his face eaten off, and the videos are still on YouTube today. You can watch them for yourself. People are whacked out on Flocka. They have that very mannerisms, just like in those Living Dead movies. One gal, she kind of walks like the one we saw from 1969, not a Living Dead. And others just get psychopath, and they attack people and trying to eat them. And I'm thinking, what if that is really what this thing is all about, this chemical that they're trying to coerce people into taking into their body? What if this chemical going to turn a certain amount of the population into these reanimated, make them cannibalistic, where they have no conscience at all. It would not surprise me at all if that was indeed the real agenda, because only then, when they had an entire population who were cannibalistic, could they justify wiping out that many people. Just like I said on a video, I don't remember how long ago it was, but if they blanketed a city, airborne and waterborne, with a chemical like flocka that would turn the entire population of said area, animals as well as people, into reanimated, flesh-eating, out-of-control, cannibalistic critters, that's the only way they could justify just eradicating all those people, vaporizing them. You know, the toys they have over at Groom Lake. And I got to thinking about this, and this old boy said this here earlier tonight. That makes sense. It really does make sense. That's more than likely what it's all about. To turn a certain amount of the population into a cannibalistic entity. And that's the only way they can justify whacking that many people all at once. And it's a pretty scary thought that there are those people out there with that kind of power who would actually do that. But anyway, after hearing that man's story, the few minutes he was on there, I wanted to put this out there. And what I want to put out there is this the real reason why people are being coerced into take a chemical into their body that they don't want? Is it because that this chemical on some people will turn them cannibalistic, just like it did those monkeys in the lab? Something to think about. Anyway, friends, I'll get on down the road. This is Eric, the Mind Control Guy. Take care.